Welcome back to Yoyogi Gymnasium. It's the quarter-final of the men's team event here at the World Team Championships. The players are being introduced to the crowd by the MC. We're watching China versus Austria. And finally, Liu Guliang, the Chinese coach, former world and Olympic champion, and now the Austrian players. Sat next to me in the commentary box, Michael Anderson, senior consultant to the ITTF in the areas of education and development. I think it's going to take a brave man to back against China, Michael.
Yes, especially since these two teams met each other in the group stage as well. And of course, China has been cruising through the group stage. The Austrian team did well, played this morning. Should at least feel that they can make, and they have to take it step by step. Take a first game, try to be aggressive on the court, and hope for a good start and see what happens. But you're right, obviously they are humongous favorites, the Chinese team. Such a deep lineup also.
They're playing tonight with the number 1 and 2 ranked players in the world, Zhu Jin and Ma Long. And the third player is the current world and Olympic champion. So that's not a bad lineup. I was here in 1993 in this very stadium for the World Championships, and indeed it was China in the women's and men's team event. But I'm sure the Austrian team will give it their best shot. Daniel Havishon there. He's first on. He's up against the number 2 ranked player in the world, Ma Long. I guess what some people are asking, Michael, is that often in the groups, when you come through the group, you then don't meet a team that you've already played. These teams have met in the group, and now we get to the quarter-final, and they're playing each other at this stage.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that. Same, but the system they play here with 4 groups, 3 advancing, that's the problem. So you cannot really, you have to separate 1 and 2, which is done. So the number 2 in the group is sent to the second half, and then, of course, number 3 then goes to, I believe, is drawn to either of the halves. So this can then obviously happen, but it's the playing system. They advanced 12 teams first of all, which is a little bit unusual, but that's related to playing the system of play, and also, of course, now they have cut down this magnificent gymnasium to only 3 center courts, and of course it's good for the viewers. For the poor guys doing the time schedule, something else. So
I must say I like the system. I think 3 teams progressing through is good. I think the winning team in the group has a significant advantage. They progress to quarter-final, they get a rest session, and they're in the quarter-final. So there's still a lot at stake in the group stage.
Yeah, that's what you want also. You want the group stage to be active, and it was actually the last round of play was you know, counting in most of the groups. I believe it's one group on the men's side where there was no action really, and it was settled. But you want those final rounds in day 4 and 5 of the competition to be counting. So I like the system. I would almost favor maybe that there's a number of teams playing the second division here in Tokyo that definitely are as good as anybody in the lower half of the seeding. So there's many teams there that could actually add competition to the first division as well. I'm thinking India, I'm thinking Egypt, and even the English boys are on track again. So interesting matches also in the second hall at Tokyo Gymnasium, actually starting at the same time as we are now getting ready for this match.
Ma Long's CV there for all to see. Semi-finalist in the last 3 World Championships. He has been number 1 in the world for a significant period of time. but the elusive world title and Olympic title in singles still eludes him. Whether he'll rectify that over the next few years, time will tell. He certainly has the ability. And there's his opponent, Daniel Habashon, 27 years of age, world ranked at number 61. The players have had their pre-match practice, 2 minutes just to get into the swing of things, get the feet moving, get the strokes grooved in, get used to the flight of the ball. But now Habashon just having a few adjustments to the number on his back. He's ready, and it looks as though Marlong's going to serve at the start. Oh no, they're going to go back to the, I thought the pre-match practice was complete. There we see some of the statistics for Daniel Habashon. As you can see, a good player, but clearly of a slightly different class than Marlong.
Maybe something that's interesting also is that the Chinese team now a couple of times at European-based World Championships actually used the Menschlager Academy in Austria, where Daniel actually is, you know, practicing every day, and so I think they have had some playing contact at least, and maybe that's just an interesting detail. And hopefully this Austrian team now with a new coach, Jarek Holojewski, has done some adjustments. I mean, they're playing a little bit better. Some of the players have been there for a while. Habashon is a good example. I mean, he's been on tour for quite some time now, but lately been picking up a little bit of speed in terms of doing more damage to top players occasionally. So, and a good doubles player, Habashon, as well. So, but of course, a daunting task for him.
So the players are ready,
Austria
and
versus
it's
China. First game, Austria to serve.
Habashon to serve at the start of the first game. As always, best of 5 games, and the overall match, best of 5 matches.
Net, love all.
We've already mentioned that Austria lost to China in the group, but they then went on to win the remaining 4 games, finishing in 2nd position. Oh, well played. Great use of the angles out wide to the forehand. Created the space on the backhand and exploited it very well.
Run all.
The flick off the end of the table from Habashon. We're going to hear a lot of noise tonight on the adjacent table. Japan men are up against Portugal in the quarterfinal. And in the group stage, that was a thriller. A 3-2 thriller. So a real battle taking place on the adjacent table. Big crowd here in the Yoyogi Stadium. And it doesn't take a genius to work out which team they'll be supporting.
2, 3.
Malone must be a little bit of a nightmare player to play in an opening match also, because he's so aggressive, and you gotta really keep control of your strokes and your serve and returns from the very beginning.
Excellent shot, well done.
I like the backhand opener also from Habashon. I was active with his racket, and he had to put everything on the line, obviously, to stay with Malong.
Backspin on the serve from Marlong. Habashon just failing to lift. Could have just opened his racket a fraction more.
3, 5.
And then the long, fast serve. Great contrast. First serve was short, and the second serve long and fast. 2 points for Marlong. Habashon now with his 2 serves.
3, 5.
Not bad, huh? Fantastic serve down the line.
It's a brave thing to do against Ma Long. Fast serve. But it was interesting what you said, Michael, the fact that they probably have practiced together. And I think that it doesn't affect the styles of play, but it certainly affects the players psychologically. Once you've practiced against the Chinese, you win a few points in practice, you think, well, I can win a few points in the match.
Yeah, I think he's starting well, Harbison. He's been active with his racket, is sticking to a game plan when it comes to service. Obviously, that's something they talked about before the match, to use that one occasionally and just disturb things. And that's exactly how you should approach a match like this.
5, 6.
And I've always said, you know, break it down to, in fact, the first game, treat it as the match itself. So see what happens.
Good backhand flick. See the wrist there, now referred to as the banana flick, the racket going around in the direction of a banana. (7-5), Austria lead. Super shot, backhand down the line.
And if there's anything to do against Ma Long, I think that corner has to be present all the time, because he is so fast around the corner, Ma Long, that you have to challenge him deep forehand.
6, 8.
Just illustrates how hard it is to win point against top play like one. There's deep trouble, but he managed to pull it through.
Winning that point just gives Ma Long a little bit of a lifeline. 9-5 down, he'd have been struggling, but 2 points now with the serve, and he's right back in it. There's the first point. The backspin on the serve.
And smart also throwing it a little bit longer, because he knew that Harbison was looking for exactly the same kind of bananas that you were talking about before.
And again, the banana, but this time over hits. And it's incredible, he scrambled that point at 8-5. Kept him in it, and now 8 points apiece. But Harbison has his 2 serves. The serve was long. Wasn't long enough.
Moment of hesitation there, actually, from Harbison. Suddenly woke up, looked at the scoreboard, and knew that you have to have this one. 4 straight points for Ma Long.
Both players going to the towel. They're entitled to do so every 6 points. Pretty warm and humid in the hall. It's been a beautiful day outside in Tokyo. 25, 26 degrees. And now at 9 points each, Ma Long has the advantage of his serve to come. Even though he's leaning, he still gets power into that topspin.
Did well though, but just didn't. Oh, he clipped the edge as well. So what a fantastic recovery.
And the backspin on the serve, the push into the net. And having been 8-5 down, Ma Long takes the first game, 11 points to 9.
打的时候太小了，对不对？你发出长的，反而小三角。
So the players back at the table for the start of the second game.
Good set.
Good performance by the Austrian in the first game. He could so easily have led 9-5.
China to stop. Love all.
Great recovery to bring the scores to 8-6 by Ma Long, and then he pulled it back and won. Oh, well played, Havisham. Held his nerve. Guided that ball back. While Ma Long is struggling around the table. Read the spin well, flicked the ball.
You have to be aggressive also, following with your body, and I like the footwork when he goes in to receive and return the service, and it's quite active, and that is something he needs to continue with.
3 love.
Perhaps a fraction high, but nevertheless, let's have a look. Quite see, it looked a bit high. But a good flick by Ma Long out wide to the forehand of Havisham.
He's reacting a little bit late on that one, but also a lot of spin. You see backhand opener, a lot of wrist action, and the ball was really spinning.
Forehand topspin to forehand topspin encounter on the diagonal. Havisham certainly not afraid to have a go. In fact, he's the one who's perhaps a little bit more stable. It's Ma Long who's having to stretch and lean and play fairly close to his body, but he does it with great effect.
3-0.
Best rally of this match so far. Havisham did really well. Several times in trouble, but managed to, that one there, Don, pull it over. Excellent.
When you look at the two players from a psychological point of view, you'd expect Havisham to be perhaps a little bit in awe of Ma Long, but he's certainly not. He's playing to win. He thinks he's got a chance, and he's doing everything he possibly can, getting in when he gets the opportunity.
And I like that, because there's only one chance. Is you identify what you have to do with your own game to be successful, and you play on that level, and maybe even, you know, very close to your 100% level. And I see what we're seeing here is a Havisham at his very best.
4-5.
He put himself in with a chance to win the first game at 8-5. He's now 5-4 up, virtually at the halfway in the second game. Excellent effort so far. Have to say, he must win this second game to have any chance. 2-0 down against the number 2 in the world.
4-5.
Don't think there's any way back from that situation. Just slightly hesitant on the return, it popped up.
He's been saving that for a while. There's been a lot of side underspin in his serve so far, but this one was clearly a little bit of upspin, and Harbison could not control that one.
5.
I like it.
Long and fast serve against Ma Long. Interesting tactics, who'd have thought, but it's paying dividends.
I was just, will there be a second one in this game? But this one was not the best quality, though. So
plus the fact Ma Long was waiting for it as well.
They're staring that one down. But why not? You have to put it on the line.
Think outside the box. Be adventurous. Go for your shots.
But overall, I think he's been reading Ma Long's serve quite well. And the problem against Ma Long, if you do not do that, and the ball just pops up just a little bit over table, you're almost done. His attacking skills over the table with forehand side, it's enormous.
7, 8.
Three game points for Ma Long. Daniel Havisham has been in this second game all the way through, but the last few points, the relentless pressure from Ma Long paying dividends. That topspin just caught the edge of the table. Havisham just acknowledging his good fortune.
Of course, it's the feeling that you have when you play them, that you have to be up on top all the way through. There's not one single chance to do a mistake. You get punished all the time. And it's so tough to be in that situation. You don't get anything for free. And a new service from Harbison there. We haven't seen that technique, and
Time out.
it's interesting. Liu Liang called the timeout, an early one, and we've seen it all the way through this tournament. The coaches are pretty aggressive with their timeouts.
When you say more aggressive, Mike, you mean actually calling the timeout earlier in the match?
Exact. I think, and it's coming. When you speak to coaches overall, I believe that an early timeout is as good as waiting. So it's something that's creeping into their minds.
Ma Long wins the next point 2-0. It's not quite game, set and match, but it's as good as. So a really critical point from China's point of view. They don't want a hiccup at the beginning of the match.
And there's a history here also with Liu Liang occasionally mentioning that Ma Long is mentally has a few points to improve, to put it like that. So that's interesting, actually, that he took that time out. Especially with the Harbison serving, because a lot of coaches prefer to take the time out when you have at least one service to go.
And the backhand topspin return from Ma Long.
Game to China.
wins the point, and Marlon takes the second game, 11 points to 9, and leads by 2 games to 0. And there we have confirmation of the situation on screen.
把他扒往正手一顿，摁过去。老想快快走快热，但是你要加力的，你两条侧身不要去测，两条侧身到这里，到这里才是啥？到前三板不要，前三板直接就他不好，这合上两发就快车了，往中间一飞，und diese Recke musst du nehmen. Spielst du Qualität, wenn es sehr gut. Du musst du bei denen nicht aufpacken. Und Chen hat mir gesagt, also natürlich sage ich scheiße, wenn du willst gut, weil du schick aber wenn du so willst,必须得是用正手接可以发的晃发到前台。
And Habersham is out at the table. Marlon just removing any sweat from the racket. And the players now ready to start the third game. Of course, Habersham now has the incredibly tough task of having to win the next 3 games against the number 2 ranked player in the world. And that's certainly not the way to start, serving into the net.
I actually talked to our colleague Gavin Rumgay about all the service errors. And he said the tables, the friction of the tables is an issue. But we've seen tremendous number of service errors throughout these 5 days.
Well played, Daniel Habersham.
I like the power and the action actually when he's timing the ball well. He's playing a tough forehand shots to manage. They're both low and powerful. Good clip.
2, 3.
I think Marlon thinks that one touched, and indeed it did. Point to China, 3-2. Habersham's only 27 years of age. He's still got years when he can improve. He looks a little bit older because of the, shall we say, the hairstyle. I can say that because I've got even less hair than him. But it does actually make him look a little older. 27, and appears to me to be improving every time I see him play.
Clearly a player that you know, paid his dues on the tour and maybe benefiting from a little bit a slightly improved practice environment in Austria, where the Venezuela Academy pulls in a lot of players from abroad all the time, and you get a little bit better.
Went for a fairly aggressive backhand, maybe a little too aggressive there, Habersham. And indeed, the Austrian coach has now called timeout.
And we said earlier here, it's pretty interesting to see the Austrian first, and of course Habersham, as we said, is a player improving, and he's good doubles player,